Hey, Super Cruisers, it's Kevin and Frank from Cruising with Wheels.
Today we're going to talk about cruising alone versus finding a cabin mate. Which one is for you? There are so many pros and cons to cruising alone. Let's say you lost your regular cruising buddy, and then you had to find somebody new. Could it be a family friend, relative, or maybe a stranger? Who knows? You are the only one that can decide that. So there's a lot of pros and cons to that. I can think of a lot of pros to cruising alone. One is you have total privacy.
That'd be good.
Right. The cabin's yours.
Mm-hmm.
You got nobody to answer to.
I don't like answering to people.
Right. You bought it, you own it.
Mm-hmm.
The second one I can think of is, for me, would be the biggest issue, is the bathroom. You're not sharing that bathroom with a family friend or a stranger.
So I wouldn't have to tell you to hurry up.
Right. You won't be banging on the door. Are you done? Are you done? No.
I gotta take a crap.
Right, like that guy did to you. Right. Yes. Those secrets will not be made public. The third one, when I went on my first cruise, one of the guys in the group, he deliberately booked his cabin just for himself. He didn't want a roommate. And primarily that was because he planned on, hooking up.
Horrified.
No, you're not. Yeah, there was, he didn't want to have to worry about saying to his cruising partner, can you be out of the cabin from, midnight till whenever. I'm going to bring somebody back, or I made plans, or here's some money, go to the casino and gamble. I'm going to be a little busy. You don't have to worry about that. You come and go and bring people, whoever.
Speaking of bedtime, you go to bed whenever you want when you're alone.
That is true. Again, your time is your own. If you want to stay up till 3 in the morning in the casino, you do it. You do not have to worry about sneaking in maybe.
I do that now.
I know, at 3 a.m., drunk as a skunk, and disturbing someone who's sleeping. You wouldn't have to worry about that. Another one is, and it sounds a little trivial, but
Trite.
Yeah. People that have cruised know there are very few outlets, electrical outlets in a cabin. Very few electrical outlets, and in the modern ships, USB ports. So if you're sharing, you're going to probably be fighting over who's plugging what in. But if you're alone, the electricity is yours.
Another good pro is you can cruise at your own pace.
Yeah.
Like some people like me, I would want to go, 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 go.
Yeah.
And some people like you.
I need more naps.
Would need naps.
Right. You can sleep in if you want. You can get up early if you want. It's doing whatever. Sign up for this activity and whatever you want to do. You're alone. You're on your own. You're at your own pace.
Do you know what I always think of when we do these videos? Pros and cons.
What?
Con!
Yeah, the wrath of Khan. Yes, you are channeling William Shatner.
Now, the biggest con that you should be considering, in my opinion, this is only my opinion. My opinion very often doesn't matter, but is that you are going to have to pay double the price for the same cabin.
Right.
So, if you're willing to do that for your privacy.
Right. I mean, if you're cost conscious and it's a problem, then you're going to want to split. Otherwise, you're paying double, and that's a.
Now, some people may feel that a con is that you have nobody to share your experiences and activities with.
Right. I mean, hopefully you're going to meet people But sometimes,
Yeah, because if you meet people, you can share.
right. But sometimes, depending on your personality, maybe it's hard for you to meet people.
when I get home, I'll share my experiences with you.
Thank you. But yeah, sometimes you wanna have someone to, when you're going to lunch and talk about what you did in the morning or who you met.
Well, that brings me to my next con, which is eating alone.
Right. Yeah, some people just do not like eating alone.
Are you one of those people?
I know.
If you're one of those people, comment below.
I didn't used to like it. Eating alone, I thought it was very
love
depressing.
eating alone.
But I got to tell you, now I wouldn't mind it at all.
I love it. I love walking into a restaurant and sitting down at the table, and I'm all by myself, and then I watch everybody around going, oh,
But so many people are thinking that they're thinking, why is he alone? Why is he
you
eating
wanna
alone? Right. Well, that's true, right? It's like, well, why do you think I booked this cruise up by myself?
I'd be thinking, why are you with that woman? Why are you sitting there with her with that that escachonade?
She has bad hair.
Yeah.
Now, when I traveled by myself, I went to Bermuda for like 4 days when I was younger. I was alone, but after dinner, when I was having like coffee and dessert, every night the waiter would come over and they would say, this group would like to invite you to their table. And I'd be like, okay. And I got up and I went over. Yes. And so I was like, they were like, hi. And they were like, because, people were like that. They were nosy. And they were like, oh, we wanted to invite you over. We noticed you were eating alone. And we wondered, are you traveling alone? And so they want to get to know you. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just here for a few days and
so that
just
could be
to
a
chill
con.
out.
That could be a con explaining why you're alone.
Exactly. Explaining why you're constantly, so who are you with? And you're like, well, I'm here alone. And people automatically think the negative. You'll be like, oh, that's a positive, I'm alone. And people will be like, oh, you're alone. Oh, I'm sorry. It's like, I'm alone. Nobody died. And now we have, I want to find a cabin mate, right? Mm-hmm. I'm going to try to find a cabin mate, whoever it might be.
Right. Now, how do we find a cabin mate?
Well, you can target close family friends.
Now, see, that's what I would do.
Right.
A friend or a family.
Right.
Maybe a coworker.
Right. And a lot of times it's somebody.
I don't know. Do you snore, Darlene?
That's the biggest issue.
That could be a real con.
Somebody that's at work who knows somebody. It says, yeah, my friend so-and-so loves to go on a cruise. What, you don't have somebody? You're looking for somebody? And they would, put you together. But there's a lot of places that you can advertise.
Well, I know that there's an app called Cabin Mate.
Right.
And it's the very first app-based roommate finder. And that can help singles come together with a roommate for their cruise. And they can check that out. I'll put a link in the description. Right. It's mycabinmate.com.
Right. Hi, I'm Frank. I love to cruise. Come with me.
You can advertise in a cruise community if it's allowed.
Right. If it's allowed. And a lot of people go to Facebook where they're looking for a specific cruise. They want to go, let's say, to an Alaska cruise for this September week, and they don't have anyone to go with, and maybe there's
I've seen him on Cruise Critic.
There's
a forum.
That page for that particular sailing, and they're saying
roll call.
Roll call. Thank you. Roll call.
Welcome.
For that sailing, and they're like, need to find somebody. Blah blah blah.
Well, there's other websites.
Yep.
There's meetup.com.
Silversurfers.com for
cruisematefinder.com.
And do cruise lines offer to put together?
I'm not
because
sure. They used to.
Yeah, they used to, because they did that for our Atlantis cruise. One of my friends kind of was the odd person out one sailing, and it was a cruise line that.
Oh, I remember this.
Yes.
He rounded up with a priest.
Yes. Now, it was a gay cruise. It was an Atlantis gay cruise, and he let the cruise line, or Atlantis.
I think it was Atlantis put them together.
Put them together, and it turns out his cabin mate was an ex-Catholic priest. And 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 we're like, so how's it going? And he's like, early to bed, early to rise, lots of rosaries happening. He doesn't talk. It's like, oh, we're so sorry.
So now that you know where you can go to find a cabin mate, or if you're thinking about the cabin mate, let's talk about the biggest positive.
Yeah.
The biggest positive is you get to split the cost.
That's right. You get to split the cost of the cabin.
You'll have somebody with you.
I know. Hopefully it won't be like the silent.
Hopefully you'll get along.
This won't be like the silent priest, ex-priest.
Silent Bob. That was in a, what was that? That was in a movie.
Was it?
Silent Bob. If you know what I'm talking about, comment below about that movie.
You'll have a companion, someone to.
Now you'll have somebody that's different. Your companion may be different from you.
Right.
Which brings me to a great pro, which is maybe you'll try something new.
Right. You'll try. You'll new foods, new activities.
Maybe a shore excursion you'll never do.
Right. I mean,
like
horseback riding in the water.
What I do? What I do?
Parasailing. I was
so excited I couldn't even get it out of my mouth.
Parasailing, horseback riding in the water, all the things.
Bungee jumping.
Right, all the things that you were like, nah, but your cabin mate is a little bit more adventurous than you are, and they're like, come on, I'll be with you all the way. You'll love it.
Or maybe you're adventurous and your and your cabin mate is more quiet and sedate, and brings you along to maybe the art auction.
Right.
Or a bridge game.
Right. Helps you
something.
slow things down a bit. Right.
Yep.
Take a moment to smell the roses. Another thing is when you talk about saving money is, and we do this with other cabins, is that we buy the water packages. Now, we're not going to drink all that water, but we split the cost of the case with, let's say, Dave and Darlene.
Right.
So you can share on water and other supplies and treats and things that we might get a platter of this or a platter of that, and there's certain things that we don't eat. We share them.
Now water makes me want to segue into a con.
Oh, okay.
And you might think I got around here in a long way. But when I think of water and a con, I think of oil and water that don't get along and don't mix. You might have different personalities.
Can you imagine if your cabin mate is somebody with a total, let's say you're very laid back, very,
up early in the morning,
to
bed early,
I'm like my coffee, I'm relaxing, I'm chill, gonna take a stroll.
And your cabin mate is, come on, let's go.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. So they're like you.
No, I'm not.
Very
like
regimented.
That. No, I'm not like that. But like some.
Oh my God, I have to have my coffee by 5.
No, they're like some crazy camp leader, with the clipboard going, okay, let's go. Okay, let's go. We got to do this, this, and this before noon lunch. Okay, yes, and I'm talking right at noon lunch, no deviation. I mean, that would drive you nuts.
Well, and different personalities very often will have different tidiness habits.
Yes.
And I wouldn't have a problem with a different personality. I would have a problem with tidiness.
Right. What if you are like a normal person and like they're either a total slob or a massive neat freak? Like every time
I didn't know where you were going with that with an ordinary person.
Well, because we're like, normal. Well, you're in the middle of the middle of the spectrum.
But a slob might think that they're normal.
They do. And a neat freak thinks that they're normal. But you're middle ground, and they're like every time you put a pen down, they're right behind you grabbing it, opening the drawer, putting it in. It's like, oh my God, it's not like I'm not going to use the pen again.
So like you. OCD.
No, but I mean, that would just be crazy. I don't know which one I couldn't stand more. The crazy neat freak that's following me, or the slob that's just dropping crap, bringing food in and leaving it.
You turn and go, are you monitoring me?
Oh my God, I'd be like, get out of this cabin.
Next on our list of cons would be sharing closet space.
What if you're a heavy packer?
But maybe I would borrow some of that clothes.
Right. Yeah, well,
teach them a lesson.
Yeah, but what if they're not that kind of traveler? They don't let other people touch their stuff, wear their clothes. You're talking just going in and taking it, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. Maybe I wouldn't be a very good cabin mate.
No, they would throw you out. Oh, gosh. What's another con?
You might be feeling pressure to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Do like, oh, come on, let's do this. Oh, come on, it'll be great. You'll love the art auction. You'll love it. And you're like, no, that's not my thing. I'm not going to sit there and listen to somebody go on and on about art when I really care about art. No, it's great. And you'll probably want to buy a piece. I know you. You're like, get away from me. So, yeah, it's like you may feel pressured to maybe, and if your personality is go along to get along, you're not going to have a good cruise. You're going to ruin it for yourself, or you're going to end up arguing. I don't know what's going to happen first.
Now, we talked about this a little bit earlier. Another con could be you have different sleep patterns. The early bird versus the night owl.
Right. I'm in bed by 10:30, 11, and the night owl is rolling in at 2, 3, 4 in the morning.
Well, and I don't know what it is about a cruise. Because we're both in bed by like 9:30.
Right.
10 o'clock when we're at home.
Right.
But when we're on the cruise, forget it. I'm like, woohoo, let's whoop it up.
Yeah, but I still have to get to bed at 10:30.
No, I'm wide awake.
And one of the worst cons is, what if they're a massive snorer? Like I was on a cruise with my friend, and Tom, I love you, but when we went on that 2-week European cruise on Costa Europa, Tom was my cabin mate, and that was deliberately done by my regular cruise buddy Kevin Campbell. And the reason it was done is because nobody wanted to share with Tom because he was a massive snorer. I didn't sleep for 2 weeks.
But another thing to consider that would be a huge con is if you have like somebody who's a nudist.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you're a nudist too, but then it would be a pro.
It's
but,
like they're always naked.
I'm thinking, like Naked Rob.
Right.
Naked Rob,
Yeah.
is that it?
Yeah.
Naked Rob?
Yeah. They're always naked, and you're like,
or they're a
can
talker.
you put a robe on?
Or they're a talker and won't
yeah.
shut up.
Right. You're trying to go to sleep, and you're like, oh my God, dude, I'm gonna get up early. I have an excursion. I need to go to bed now. Okay, that's great. It's gonna be fun. And they just.
Let me stop you right there. So now that you know the pros and cons of traveling alone or traveling with a cabin mate, which are you?
Yeah.
Would you do a cabin mate or would you travel alone?
Right. Would you fare better alone or with somebody that maybe you really didn't know? Because even if it's a family member, you don't know anyone until you live with them.
You don't know anything until you really know something.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Is that what we say?
Absolutely.
We say you don't know. What you don't know is you don't know.
What you don't know.
Right. You don't know what you don't know.
So we hope we've helped you in terms of evaluating if you become someone who might have to cruise alone and you don't know which lever to pull.
Right.
So thanks for joining us.
And remember to travel safe
And cruise often.